Hey, I'm Katie Duckworth. Imagine going back in time and reading your own thoughts from years and years ago. Well, now you can. I don't know which of your own thoughts you guys would be interested in hearing, but I personally will be going back to the very end of the year in each of the Latin classes I've taken at BLS. Why? Because I want to take an inside look at how I was feeling about Latin by the end of my 68th freshman, sophomore, and junior years. Wow. I can't believe I made it through 60 Latin with an A as a final grade, but without actually understanding the difference between the genitive and the dative. Ooh, and without actually memorizing how to do a verb synopsis and just taking an educated guess every time I did one. I should probably learn these things over the summer. But I did love making my own little book written in Latin about the abduction of Europa. Thanks, Ms. Hausey. That was such a fun project, and this was such a great year. Whoa! When did Latin get so fun? I finally know and actually understand all of the declensions, cases, and verb conjugations because I memorized them last summer. So translating Hercules is actually really fun and easy. I'm glad I paid attention when we learned about cum clauses, indirect statements, indirect commands, and indirect questions. I have a feeling that will come in handy. This mosaic project I'm doing right now, though, Mr. Severo, is significantly less fun than translating. Can't we go back to Hercules, please? I'm so happy. I thought high school Latin was going to be so hard and so scary. It is high school, after all. But it's totally great. Mr. Brownell's vocab games really got my competitive juices flowing this year, and what's a better motivating factor for studying than a little competition? Jason and the Argonauts was so fun to translate, but I wonder if knowing the names and descriptions of all of the 7 kings of Rome will ever come in handy. Whatever. I'll probably forget them all anyway. I'm so happy I got to have Miss Navfeld again for Latin prose. This is probably the best class I've taken at BLS so far. We translated so many great authors like Cicero, Caesar, and Ovid. No adapted Latin for us. I'm so proud of the poem I wrote in Dactylic Hexameter about Hylas and the nymphs. It was the only one in my class that scanned perfectly. Wow, what a productive year. We translated so much Caesar and Virgil, which was obviously a blast. I can't believe I actually looked forward to doing my Virgil homework. I'm such a nerd, but I'm proud of it, honestly. I love Latin. Miss Ledang is so great, and I feel so prepared for the AP exam. I'm also so excited I got this huge Oxford Classical Dictionary for getting 4 gold medals on the National Latin exams. So here I am, 6 years later. Latin 5 Poetry was by far the best Latin class I've taken at BLS, and quite possibly the best class I've ever taken at BLS. So attention, everyone. You should take this course. Miss Hausey will blow your absolute mind. She knows so much and has such insightful things to say. I literally could listen to her talk for hours about Catullus and Ovid and Auden and never get bored. I describe this class as an English class, but in the language of Latin, because we talk about themes and really discuss poems. We don't just translate them, though the translating is really great too. The conversation is always fascinating because people have such great, insightful things to say that you never would have realized if we didn't discuss the poems. In conclusion, I'm sorry I only knew half the declensions and conjugations in 60 years, Miss Navfeld. Thanks for a fun and funny year, Mr. Severo. I actually do remember the 7 kings of Rome and their descriptions still, so thanks, Mr. Brownell. I don't know how much use, per se, I've gotten out of this knowledge, but it's still very interesting and esoteric knowledge to have. Miss Navfeld, thank you for encouraging me to continue my Latin career and for being a great mentor. Miss Ledang, thanks for a full year of learning and translating and a great classroom dynamic. And finally, Miss Hausey, thanks for being you. You're so smart and amazing, and I loved every second of this class. My only regret in my years of Latin at BLS, not being an active JCLer. You guys clearly have so much fun, and I know practically nothing about culture, which is the sole reason I didn't get a perfect score on 3 National Latin exams, so I would have loved to have been a part of your JCL family. I can't wait to take Latin next year at Brown. I've already made friends with some of the classics kids all across the country going to Brown, and I already signed up for medieval Latin first semester. And I'll probably take a class on Latin Love Elegy second semester. It's safe to say it's going to be awesome. And I couldn't have done it without all of my amazing Latin teachers from BLS. Thank you all.